Apple develops alternative to Google search. Welcome back to Impact. It's your boy, Papa Swolio. Make sure you hit that subscribe button right here on Swolenormous Pro, where we cover tech and anything trending that is going to help us communicate with one another and distribute our content and build our online businesses and our brands. iPhone maker pushes to build its own search tools as ties to Google come under antitrust scrutiny. Ooh, interesting. Let's get into it. Apple is stepping up efforts to develop its own search technology as U.S. antitrust authorities threaten multi-billion-dollar payments that Google makes to secure prime placement of its search engine on the iPhone. In a little noticed change to the latest version of the iPhone operating system, iOS 14, Apple has begun to show its own search results and link directly to websites when users type queries from its home screen. That web search capability marks an important advance in Apple's in-house development and could form the foundation of a fuller attack on Google, according to several people in the industry. The Silicon Valley company is notoriously secretive about its internal projects, but the move adds to growing evidence that it is working to build a rival to Google's search engine. 2.5 years ago, Apple poached Google's head of search, John Giandrea. The hire was ostensibly to boost its artificial intelligence capabilities and its Siri virtual assistant, but also brought 8 years of experience running the world's most popular search engine. Gonna need some more coffee for this. The company's growing in-house search capability gives an alternative if regulators block its lucrative partnership with Google. When the U.S. Department of Justice launched a case last week over payments that Google makes to Apple to be the iPhone's default search tool, urgency was added to the initiative. Apple, have a credible team that I think has the experience and the depth if they wanted to build a more general search engine, says Bill Coffrin probably, Google's former engineering chief who is now a partner at Silicon Valley investor Sequoia Capital. Apple's frequent job advertisements for search engineers are not short on ambition, inviting candidates to define and implement the architecture of Apple's groundbreaking search technology. Search marketing experts also point to increased activity from Applebot, the iPhone maker's once obscure web crawler, which is used to build the vast database of online material that forms the foundation of any search engine. Suganthan Mohannadasan, I can't do that again, SM, a digital marketing consultant, said Applebot has shown up a ridiculous number of times on its clients' websites in recent weeks. Quote, when the crawl rate increases, that tells us they are trying to gather more information. Most significantly, iOS 14 nudged aside Google for certain search functions, queries made in the search window accessed by swiping right from the iPhone's home screen, which Apple calls the Today view, show an Apple-generated list of search suggestions rather than Google results. These results include autocomplete-style suggestions generated by Apple showing that it is learning from its 1 billion users' most common queries. Apple declined to comment. Building a true rival to Google's search engine could take years, but with profits this year predicted to exceed $55 billion, profits to exceed $55 billion, and $81 billion of net cash reserves at the last count, Apple can afford to make long-term investments. Apple has historically tried to own and control the most important components of its products, from the custom chips that power everything from the iPhone to its AirPods and watch accessories, to the tight integration between its software and hardware. Yet Apple has stuck with Google as the iPhone's default search engine for more than a decade. Now, however, Apple has a growing incentive to change that, as regulators force it to choose between defending its relationship with Google or turning against its long-standing partner in search. The U.S. Department of Justice has put Google's estimated $8 billion to $12 billion annual payments to be the iPhone's default search engine at the center of its antitrust case against the Internet Group. Sharis Posen, co-head of the global antitrust practice at law firm Clifford Chance and a former acting assistant attorney general at the DOJ, said the case, quote, opens up another front for Apple, end quote. Alongside legal fights with Epic Games and others over its role as App Store gatekeeper, Apple will be central here, she said, adding that it must walk a fine line in explaining why it took billions of dollars from Google. The DOJ could demand an end to the exclusive agreement, she said, allowing others equal access to the iPhone's search defaults. Apple has stumbled in creating a rival to Google before. When Apple Maps first launched in 2012, it was so prone to errors that Scott Forstall, one of the company's top lieutenants to late co-founder Steve Jobs, was forced to resign. Yeah, who uses Apple Maps? I use Waze. But Apple is one of the few companies that have the resources to index the web from scratch. Most of Google's similar rivals license their index from Microsoft's Bing, including DuckDuckGo, a privacy-focused company that Apple already offers as an alternative to Google in its Safari browser, and Neeva, a Silicon Valley startup founded by two former Google execs. Quote, Apple's position is very unique because it has the iPhone and iOS. It controls the default browser, said Sridhar Ramaswamy, Neeva's co-founder and Google's former head of advertising. Expanding in search feels natural for Apple, he said, as it has the ability to gather data and learn from user behavior at a large scale. More than 20 years after Google was founded, building a search engine today is still technically very difficult, but not as hard as it used to be, said Mr. Coffrin, who was among the investors to put $35 million into Neeva. Excuse me. That is in part thanks to cheaper cloud computing infrastructure and open source tools that are available to both Apple and startups such as Neeva. So we will see. We will see. Some observers still dismiss the idea of Apple creating a complete search rival to Google. We'll see. I mean, I think a lot of these companies, similar to just global infrastructure, a lot of these companies are trying to bring things in-house, which I think is smart. I mean, this is what we do with the Swole fam. Obviously, we have bonus content from Swole Enormous Pro and all the platforms available in Swole TV. We have that redundancy and we have that secure platform because lots of my content gets flagged and gets restricted on YouTube and on Twitter and on Facebook and TikTok and all these platforms. My stuff gets censored. My stuff gets shoved under the rug, and my reach and my distribution gets very, very, very throttled. So it's important to have autonomy. It's important to have that protection. It's important to have those things in place that will keep you not dependent. And of course, obviously, this could be a safety thing from an antitrust standpoint from Google's and from Apple. If you're using Safari and it defaults to Google, obviously that benefits Google. I mean, that's huge. So I'm sure those $12 billion a year, it's not just for, hey, you want some money? I'm sure it's for something. I'm sure it's for this. But of course, their lawyers and their legal, these companies are so big and they're skeezy. They have so much control and so much power. It's really hard to pinpoint them. When you have that much cash and that much money, think about it. Literally, money is power, but liquid. Like, you have cash. You have that ability to pull strings, I'm not saying to bribe people and things like that, but to create things and to invest and to build new structures or to buy these companies that could be rivals in the future or to give you that autonomy. So what are your thoughts? Drop a comment down below. Make sure you subscribe right here to Swole Enormous Pro. You will be able to see the Swole Enormous Procast real soon on your favorite podcast app. But make sure you subscribe here, drop a comment down below. And of course, make sure, like I said, drop a comment and follow, plug in. And if you want to learn more about social media, marketing, distribution, creating an online business, make sure you check out right here on the channel, the Swole Enormous Procast. And of course, bonus content from the Swole Enormous Procast, bonus episodes, Q&A, and all that private stuff is available inside Swole TV. You can learn more over at swolenormousx.com. All those links are down below. And I'll see you real soon for the next video. Peace out, fam.